Well, hey, you guys. So if you know me, you know that I have a pretty hard line around debt. And I think a lot of people understand and they see why. But one of the most common arguments that I hear is that the experiences are worth taking out debt. So the idea of vacation or great meals, whatever it is, it's like, yeah, but it's this experience and these memories, and it's worth it. So keep watching to hear what I think about this, and be sure to subscribe and share with a friend before we get started. So I saw a recent stat that 45% of parents who go to Disney with kids under 18 take on debt for their vacation. And the average amount of debt that these parents take on was close to $2,000, $1,983 to be exact. So going to Disney, specifically Disney, right? It's an expensive place. I mean, it is. You think about prices of tickets and everything, and there's a spectrum of like, you know, if you stay on property or not. I mean, like there's ways around to cut costs, but just even getting into the park, if you have a family of 3, 4, 5, 6, it's very expensive. And listen, we all have choices to make, okay? And if this has ever been you, it's a choice that's probably coming from a good place. If you're thinking, do I want to go to Disney or not? Do we have the money or not? But it's also a choice that will have consequences if you choose to go into debt. And in my opinion, I think that there is a better way to do this. So I'll share more about that in just a few. But first, I want to debunk 4 common myths around the debt is worth it for the experience arguments, okay? Because again, I think a lot of people justify this. And it's like, well, you know, we need to go into debt because we won't have the money to do something big like Disney. And so, again, the justifications really begin. And the first thing that I hear all the time is that Disney parents are the best parents, right? It's this idea of wanting your kids to have a memorable, joyful experience. And that's a really great thing. But just because a parent takes their kid to Disney does not mean that they are a better parent than someone that doesn't. Okay, I think we can all say that out loud, right? And when I say it out loud, you're probably thinking, well, of course, Rachel, we know that. But in the heat of the moment, when you are that parent and that guilt starts, you think, well, yeah. But man, we gotta do this. Like, this is a part of childhood, right? And so this idea, this lie that suddenly you are a better parent because you're giving your child this experience versus maybe saying, we don't have the money, so we're not going to do that. Again, it's a lie. It's a lie to believe that you're a better parent because of it. Number 2, your kids will always be happy at the happiest place on earth. Raise your hand if your child has ever been in a full-blown meltdown and you're like, oh, wait 1 second, child, let me go get my phone so I can like video you doing this and then post it so we can be really relevant, like all the things. No, people don't do that. We don't feel meltdowns, not because you're always embarrassed by them, sometimes you are, but also because like your anxiety's high, you're trying to figure out what your kid needs, you're not thinking about going and filming it. So the same is true with the Disney parent. And I'm going to believe that. I'm going to take the positive approach to this, that people aren't posting their meltdowns because nobody has time to whip out their phone and record the meltdown, right? So the idea that every picture you see, most pictures you see, it looks like a glorious time, you know? And I bet some of the trip is. We have been to Disney as a family, so I will fully admit, like, yeah, there are times that it is so fun and enjoyable. And then every trip, always, no matter where you are in life, right? Even out to a restaurant, the meltdown happens, or the disrespect, or the talking about whatever it is. It always happens. And it always happens at Disney too. But you may never see it. Number 3, my kid is going to remember every single detail of every day. They won't always remember like, gosh, that specific thing on that specific day and that specific ride and that specific time. What they remember is the overall emotion of the trip. They remember the funny moments as a family. They remember the time that they were scared and they were brave and did the thing. I mean, the idea that they're going to remember every single detail is just not true. It's not. I mean, even as parents, we don't. And so the idea of sharing moments with your family that are memorable in Disney or not is really crucial because that is what your kids remember. They really do. They remember how they felt in a moment versus the actual thing. All right, before I debunk the fourth lie and share my number one tip for traveling the smart way, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Delete Me. I saw a headline recently that really caught my attention. 1/3 of the U.S. population's background info is now public. So for 115 million of us, data breaches mean that our info is just out there for anyone to find. And this is stuff like our names, addresses, phone numbers, and more. And that is why I love Delete Me, because they find and remove your information from hundreds of data broker websites that will buy, sell, and trade your personal information. So take control of your online privacy with Delete Me. An individual Delete Me plans start as low as $9 a month. So sign up today at joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, or just click the link in the description. All right, the fourth myth is that Disney is the only place where joy exists. Yeah. Let's just all take a moment and say, that is not true. And I think we all know that, but sometimes we have to say these things out loud. Because listen, your kids can have the same level of fun on a staycation. And you may be thinking, that's not true, Rachel. So much of our attitude as parents and the environment in which we live our lives and handle our kids in situations matters so much more than where we are. Because you could create an incredible staycation and they are going to have the best time. Because listen, if you don't have cash for Disney, maybe book a room at the local Holiday Inn with a Groupon and let the kids go crazy with the vending machines and the indoor pool. And trust me, they are going to have a great time. Or think of other experiences that can spark joy from home. Think about having board game night. Think about having movie nights. Think about going out and doing a scavenger hunt. Doing things with your kids will bring so much joy. We recently had a litter of puppies. We have 6 puppies at our house currently who are 6 weeks old. And can I tell you, it has been our kids, they would pick this over anything else. Now, it has been a lot of work. It's a lot. But the amount of joy that comes from that, from having puppies for 8, 9, 10 weeks at our house, has been the best thing ever. So again, you may not be able to have a litter of puppies at your house. I get that. But think of creative ways to create memories with your family and have joy and excitement in your life where it doesn't have to be spending tens of thousands of dollars at Disney World. Now, one thing that can steal your joy on a daily basis is debt. And this is true if you are paying it off months and months after a Disney vacation. Because think about it. You are still paying for these experiences after you've already lived them, plus with interest, so you're paying even more. So creating fun and enjoyable experiences for your kids, regardless of where you are, is so important. But if you do want to go and have fun with your kids on a great trip, which again, we are all about, I want you to do that. I'm not mad at Disney. I think it's great, but I want you to do it a smart way. So my number one tip for traveling of any kind, including Disney World, is to save up and pay for it. So this may mean that you're going to be at a slower pace when it comes to saving up and paying for something. It may mean that your trip will look different if you choose to pay with all cash versus going into debt where you could spend more than what you have. You're going to have more, boundaries and limitations. But all of this is to set yourself up well, because one of the worst things that can happen is going deeply in debt for something and then coming home and having to pay for it month after month, plus interest on top of it. And again, I feel like in our world today, I talk to so mto people where it's this paycheck to paycheck cycle. And sometimes it is so easy to give into our emotions. It's it would just be so nice just to have a trip and to get away. And our kids really want to go. Let's just go. You kind of just throw everything out the window and you do it. Because in the moment, it just feels we should, because we want to be a great parent or whatever the thing is that's causing you to do that kind of vacation. And realizing that when you get back, though, that stressful cycle that maybe you were already in gets even worse. And I think part of being a grown-up and part of being mature when it comes to our money is we have to say no. We have to say no to ourselves. We have to say no to our kids sometimes. So if it is not in the budget, if you don't have the cash for it, that doesn't mean you can never do it. Just be patient. So do not go into debt for a vacation. Okay, I promise the vacations that follow you home in payments are not worth it. Now, when you are looking to save up for a vacation, doing a little bit per month is the way to do it. And that's called a sinking fund. And if you download the EveryDollar app, this is going to help you with your monthly budget. And in it includes sinking funds. Because listen, I am all about experiences. I am all about fun. And I want you to enjoy your life and have fun. I just want you to do it the right way where the fun can continue even when you come home. So make sure to download the EveryDollar app, put a sinking funds line item in there, and save up for these trips, because there are great experiences to have out in the world and it's wonderful. But when you go into debt for them again, it sucks the life out of you. Now, if you want to make progress with your budget really fast, make sure to check out my episode on the right way to do a monthly budget. That is next. And for podcast listeners, make sure to click the link below to get that episode. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.